Hello and welcome to Learning Music Through Hymns. My name is Brian and today we are going to be talking about rest value. This is our last part before we move to the long and waited time signature videos. So this is finishing the whole part of notes, notating rhythms and rest value. That is on the chapter 8 of our book, Open Music Theory book. You can find that book in the link of that book in the description box below. You can download it for free and you can read along. So if you can remember well, we have done videos on regular notes, we have done video on dotted notes and tied notes. Today we are going to be looking at we are going to be talking about rest value. Music doesn't need to be complicated. If you know about our notes, regular notes, you should know about the rest, because the same value of period it was taking the regular notes, it will take the rest. For example, if I ask you how many beats did a whole note has, you will tell me it had 4 beats, and I will say that's good. If I ask you how many beats did half note had, you will tell me it had 2 beats of quarter beats per bar, and the same thing with half rest. If I ask you how many beats did quarter note has, you will tell me it had 1 beat on every bar, 1 1 1, and the same thing with quarter rest. And the same thing, 8 rest had half beat in a bar, the same thing with 8 rest. 16th rest had quarter beat in a bar, the same thing with 16th rest. And also 32nd rest, the same thing. The same thing if our regular notes had dotted notes, the same thing with rest. If I tell you how many beats did whole note, a dotted whole note had, you will tell me how many. You'll say 6. The same thing with whole rest, a dotted whole rest. If I ask you how many beats did have a dotted half beat, a dotted half note had, you will tell me it had 3. The same thing with half, dotted half rest. And you can go on downwards. Quarter, dotted quarter, the same thing with dotted quarter rest. Dotted 8 rest, the same thing with dotted 8 note, the same thing with dotted 8 rest. And you get the point. If you want another way to visualize, you can look at it in terms of subdivisions. Whole note is divided into half notes, 2 half notes. Then this half note is divided into 2 quarter notes. This quarter note is divided into 2 8 notes, and this 8 note is divided into 2 16th notes. The same thing with rests. A whole rest is divided into 2. We have half rest. A half rest is divided into a quarter rest. A quarter rest is divided into an 8 rest, and an 8 rest is divided into a 16th rest. I think now what's important is to know how to draw these things, and to know when you see it in a score, you can be able to know what it means. I have a little trick on how to remember. A whole rest, think of it as it has a weight. This W means weight. So if it has a weight, then this thing is hanging down on it. This H of half rest, think of it as an hat. So this one is having an hat, the same thing. So this H in half rest can be used to remember hat. So this thing is hanging overhead. On quarter rest, it's like a Z which has a tail. 8 rest, it has a beam, then it has a flag on it. 16th rest, two flags, and 32nd rest, it has three flags. I don't need to go through dotted rests because it's the same concept, because you just place dots after the symbol, because like this we have dot here to represent a dotted wall rest, and the same thing following downwards. I think now we are smart, and we have hit so hard on understanding on how to, if you can see it in the score, you can interpret it, you can know how, where you hold the note, you keep silence for a certain period, but you don't need to break the rhythm when you are keeping silence. So what now remains is now for us to do these 5 exercises. We have wall, talking about wall rest, we have an exercise here, exercise 1. We have an exercise 2 talking about half rest, exercise 3 talking about quarter rest, exercise 4 talking about 8th rest, and exercise 5 talking about 16th rest. You might ask me, why don't we have an exercise on 30-second rest? I must say 30-second rests are very rare. The same thing, wall rests, sometimes they are rare, but you can find them. So the one which you will probably see it most is 16th rest, 8th rest, quarter rest, and half rest, and sometimes wall rest. For example, when on the beginning of a phrase, of a bar, where one of the voice is singing while others are waiting so that they can join afterwards. Now let us dive deep on our exercises. So you will hear that here you will be having, I will not be worrying so much on other notes. I'll be focusing more on where we have these symbols of rest. Like this one, we're having 4 beats of empty, of silence. Like this, it will be going 1 3 1 2. You get the point? I'm receiving 4 beats of empty, of silence, and 4 beats of silence here. If you're a smart student, which I know most all of you are, because we are nerds at this, you'll be able to answer this question: why don't I have a dotted wall rest inside here? If you can remember well, is that we are in the time signature of 4/4, and it only accommodates per bar. In one bar, it only accommodates 4 beats, and here we have how many beats? 6 beats, meaning that 6 beats cannot be accommodated here. And that's the reason why we don't have a dotted wall rest. But time signatures like 3/2 can accommodate this rest, because we're having 3 beats of half notes. I hope that's clear. Now let us go to the next exercise, which we have half rests here and dotted half rest here. You will hear 2 beats of empty silence here, 2 beats of silence here, and 3 beats of silence here. Once again, I'll not be focusing so much on regular notes, so I want you to focus on how many beats we are receiving here and here. It goes this way: 1 1 3 1 4. You hear 2 beats, 2 beats, and 3 beats here, because these are dotted half rests. Now we are going to the third exercise, where we will be talking about quarter rests. Quarter rest is receiving 1 beat, so we'll be hearing 1 beat of empty silence here, 1.5 beats of empty silence here, because these are dotted quarter rests. Now let's see if we can be able to tap this rhythm. So it goes 1 and 2, 1 and 1 and 1. you are hearing 2 beats. You are hearing 1 beat of silence here and 1.5 beat of silence here. So this is from here to here. It's going 1 and you go that way. Now let us go to 8 rest. Here you will be hearing a half beat of silence. Now here now can be a little bit tricky, more so having this combination of this rest and this 16th notes here, and this 16th note with this rest here. For that reason, we'll have a video explaining our last video before we go to time signatures, explaining the combination between 8 notes and 16th notes, combining with 8 rest and 16th rest. Because I know that counting 16th notes can be so much difficult. This is where it took much of my time understanding. The rest of counting whole, half, quarter, 8 were very simple, but 16th notes can be somehow difficult. But we'll have a video dedicated for that before now we go to our video on time signatures. So let us see if we can be able to tap the rhythm here. So you'll be hearing a half a silence here, a half beat of silence here, and half beat of silence here. So it goes something like this. 1, 2, and 2, 1, 2, goes that way. So this is having a quarter rest, having a half beat of rest, a half beat of rest, a half beat of rest. Now let us finish with 16th rest. 16th rest is receiving a quarter of a beat of silence here. So here we'll be going like this is 1, so this is 1, then this is 2, a bit of 2 is coming here, but now we'll be singing the notes E and A. It should be 2 E and A. So it's going 2 E and A. But now we'll be omitting these 2 and only be singing E and A. So it goes like this. 1 E and A 2, 1 E and A 2. I'll repeat this one. 1 E and A 3, 1 E and A 2. Now we are done with everything that you need to know about rest value. Our last video will be explaining once again combination of 8 notes, 16th notes, 8 rest and 16th rest. And after doing that, I think now we are competent enough to tackle on time signatures. So once again, I want to thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting this channel, and thank you for being here to be able to be a better musician in church, encourage other people to be able to understand music. Music should be for everyone, be it you are learned, you have content on music, or you are just a congregational singer who doesn't have any concept of music. Music is for all of us, and I think by learning basic things like this, I can just imagine the church that we can all make, a church full of musicians. Imagine congregational singers singing as trained choir members. And that's the purpose of this channel, to make better musicians in church. Thank you so much. I love you. See you in our next video talking about combination of these 8 notes and 16th notes. I love you so much. God bless you, and see you soon.